Got another one for the wall. All right, so, oh man, time to recap this week. It's been interesting. So, as you all know, last week I ran the Toronto Waterfront Half Marathon, and it was an experience. It was definitely a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, but at the same time, very close to what I expected it to be. Now, how is that possible? Because that's a contradicting statement, and most of that comes from the fact that I didn't train. And not training led to me having a very long recovery process. So it's currently Friday, and I finished running at around 11:30 on Sunday. So maybe last night would have been like the first night I really, like, my legs felt good. No pain up and down stairs, didn't hurt to walk, nothing. At work in construction boots, no problem. So for the better part of 4 days, I was trying not to limp. I was walking differently. I was very, light on my feet, or tried to be. And for all intents and purposes, I was just in a lot of pain. So stretching, water, hot baths, you name it, I was doing. I rolled my muscles out. I rolled my T-bands. I had a massaging ball on my quads all the time, stretching out my calves, everything. And there's only so much you can do. So I did a number on my legs, and it took a while to get back to what I consider humanity, or just having a normal body again. But I'm back, and it's been a process, and I've learned my lesson. Don't try and do a half marathon with no training. But I'm still very pleased with how everything went. So to recap, I signed up for the Toronto Waterfront Half Marathon with the goal of running it in 2 hours, or like my bracket was 2 hours to 2 hours and 15 minutes. So to know that I ran it in 2 hours and 34 minutes is, considering the no training and the disrespect towards the event that I shouldn't have had because I'm better than this, but considering all the different factors that led me to the situation I was in, I'm pretty happy with how I did. 15 minutes behind the slowest I wanted to be isn't horrible considering no training. So that being said, I definitely look at that as a win. I got through it. I didn't hurt myself. I was in pain, but I didn't come away with an injury. So that's a win. I learned a lot about it, like things you're not supposed to do that I did. So for instance, usually on race day, you're not supposed to change up what you usually run with or stuff like that. Now, I decided to wear a pair of shoes that I hadn't really done a lot of running in. So I'd done maybe 6 kilometers in the whole summer in these shoes though. So I'd use them a bit. I'd probably gotten a little bit of wear and tear in them in terms of forming them to my foot. And so they worked out for me. I was comfortable, but you're supposed to wear a shoe that you're really comfortable in instead of more or less breaking it in. And you shouldn't change your diet or anything like that. Well, I changed my diet. So rather than having a bunch of carbs before the race, I had them the morning of, which is, again, the opposite of what you're supposed to do. But rushed for time, grabbed what I could, ate it, whatever. And then the last thing, you're not on actual race day, during the run, I know this for a fact, you're not supposed to digest things that you're not used to digesting. So for instance, they are handing out these packs, these nutrition goo packs. The brand is GU Goo. So I was like, you know what? I've done everything wrong and different and backwards up to this point, so I might as well give it a shot. So I decided I would. So I without knowing whether I was supposed to have the whole thing or little bits at a time, or how I'm supposed to consume that or what it's really for, I decided to have it, and it was pretty good. It was chocolate flavored. I'm not complaining. It was pretty tasty, but maybe I should have had it earlier. Maybe I should have had it later. Maybe I should have had little bits at a time. I wasn't sure. So definitely gonna have to practice running with those, and or see if that's the right thing for me. Thankfully, it didn't have any digestive effects, and my body maintained itself. So that was another thing I did differently. So one thing that I nailed on this run was, or is, I guess I should say, the fact that when you're going for a long distance run outside, you definitely need to wear the appropriate clothing so you can maintain your body temperature. Right? That's just one thing I nailed. I wore thermal stuff, long sleeve shirt, short sleeve shirt, dry fit, and a windbreaker, toque, mittens, climate, stuff that's meant for hiking, like cold terrain hiking. I ran in those pants, and it was good. I was perfectly comfortable the whole time, and didn't oversweat, didn't overheat, nothing like that. So it was really good. I'm happy that I nailed the clothing, because that can be really cumbersome when you have to lose a lot of layers early because you're too warm, and then later on you have to put them back on because you're too cold. So to know that I didn't have to deal with that hurdle was a success, another success, I should say, in my experience. So, looking back, all those things aside, it was a really great experience seeing so many people with signs and cheering and like really motivating the runners on, and just like being so supportive and like in an inspiring way. To see those people get cheered on is also inspiring to you, even though you don't know any of them. You're like, yeah, this is awesome that the crowd's here for us and they're cheering us on. They want to see us. They want to see us succeed. That being said, I did come across some really funny signs that I, while running, decided, you know what, I'm gonna, even if it slows me down a little bit, I'm gonna write these down because they're too good. So, the number one card I saw was, "You're doing all of this for a free banana?" That's amazing. First of all, you know, no one really has to know this, but I'm going to tell you guys anyway. Play on words, pun, whatever it is, simple humor like that gets me every time. And I was probably smiling after that sign for like 5 minutes. Easy. That's a great sign. Some other signs include running faster than the DVP. Now, for those of you who don't actually live in Toronto or know what the DVP is, it's one of our highways, and it's called the Don Valley Parking Lot. It's supposed to be called the Don Valley Parkway, but because it's so slow and always jammed up with the traffic, everyone calls it the Don Valley Parking Lot. On to the next one. Your feet hurt because you're kicking butt. That's, you know what, that's not bad. Reminding people that you're in pain because you're doing a good thing and you're conquering your goals. That was a real motivating one. One group of people had a bunch of different signs. I think they're just trying to be really supportive and get people laughing. But they had 3 in a row that cracked me up. I stopped to make sure I got all 3 down. But so the 3 were: stop reading, start running. And this is just after a water station, so people were slowing down to drink water, and then you see the sign, it's perfect. Worst parade ever. And then, because I am a nerd, I love movies, I love sci-fi, I love video games, all things childish. That's me. The last sign I saw was "The course is with you," which is a straight rip-off of "The Force is with you," which is Star Wars, but again, amazing. So, credit to those people. Obviously don't know who you are or your names or anything like that, but thank you for having your signs and being there and supporting us and cheering us on. It made the difference for me, kept me motivated and happy and positive, and that's obviously a really big thing when you're going through such a challenging event. So, to conclude this video, I've got a great piece of information, which is I'm deciding to train again, and this time I'm actually going to train. So, I've signed up and registered and paid for an event called the Chile Half Marathon. It's March 3rd out in Burlington. It's obviously a half marathon, and a buddy of mine is doing it as well, so I kind of have someone to stay on top of me in terms of my accountability and making sure I train, making sure I work out, my nutrition, is on point and really focused towards my goal. And this time, I would like to try and run under 2 hours. That is a very big difference from 2.5 hours to 2. So I've obviously got a lot of training to do, but that being said, there's no time like the present to do it. So I'm going to be working really hard, and I hope you guys stay with me along the way, and see how my training developments. But for now, I'm going to wrap this video up and say I will see you on the road to the Chile Half Marathon. See you in the next one, guys.